What's up, everybody? It's your girl Q1, and I am back with Tyler Perry's House of Payne. Y'all not used to that. I just wanted to see how I would do doing a video versus a short. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Before I start, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video I drop. Make sure y'all like the video so I can stay in the algorithm, okay? So here we go. Tyler Perry's House of Payne, season 14, episode 18, Good as Gold. So if you don't remember, last season, Jackson went over to Jasmine's house for dinner, just kind of getting to know each other because he like her. They like each other. And the biggest storyline is the whole Ella, Laura, and Calvin, pretty much. So y'all remember last episode, Calvin thought, part of him thought he wanted Miranda. He's questioning it. And now since he found out Miranda has a person, now he thinks he wants Laura. So let's just go ahead and jump right on in, because we pick up with him and Laura having dinner. The Paynes knock on the door. Laura runs in Calvin's room, and he let his parents in. So Ella was just basically like, we're not going to let you pine over here and she was about to say Laura, and Laura walked out of the door. She turned around to actually see Laura. And I'm going to say this, Laura still had a stank attitude. So they finally kind of exchanged pleasantries. And Ella, she was like, how you doing, Miss Ella? Ella was like, I'm good, I'm busy, yada, yada, yada. So Laura was like, are you still running around, with the church doing the Lord's work? And Ella was like, yeah. So she asked Curtis, how's the barbecue business going? Because, you sell the best barbecue. And he was like, it's cool. I like you and all of that. So I felt like they was putting on. But we gonna go along and get along. So Ella, still being a little nosy, she tells them that it's great that they're trying to work things out. And I'm like, Ella, you don't even like her like that. But all right. So Kelvin felt like, he learned a lot from his parents. And Laura was like, well, we learned a lot from our parents. And I'm like, girl, what did y'all learn? Because we only seen your parents like a few times. But whatever. So Ella asked, what did y'all learn? Kelvin said what he needed to say. In a way, Laura looked at him like, yeah. It's not, I don't know. It's not working. And they're making Laura more insufferable. Anyway, the parentals leave. And Laura tells Ella, don't worry, Miss Ella, I got him. And so she looked at Laura and was like, and so do I. And I was like, girl. Dear moms, you cannot compete with your son's person. And dear sons, persons, girlfriends, spouses, whatever, you cannot compete with their mothers. That is two separate relationships, and I need y'all to understand that. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. So Laura takes this moment to see, they were surprised to see me. And it's just like, Laura, girl, I need you to go heal. I don't know what this is. And she was like, especially your mama. Calvin was like, my mama loves you. And Laura was like, no, she don't. And he said, my mama loves everyone. She was like, except for me. So Calvin was like, she's a church lady. Laura was like, them the worst ones. I wasn't mad at that. Not all. So, a lot. Okay. Anyway, Calvin tells Laura, he's tired of her keeping up the beef. She says to Calvin, I'm not keeping up no beef. She was like, and I don't start any of the issues. So Calvin doesn't want to acknowledge. She was like, you don't want to acknowledge Ish, and you act like Ish ain't happening in front of us. Our problems are staring us in our face, and you're acting like it's not there. So she was like, I don't feel safe, nor do I feel protected around you or your family. And Laura said, your people don't rock with your girl. And he was like, but you don't rock with my people. So we get a knock on the door. Who is it? None other than the two that are very childlike and at this arrested development stage, Pooky and Peanut. Okay? So they stopped by, being an annoyance as they are, childish as they are, and very disrespectful when it came to Laura. I didn't like that. Whether she was there or not, you don't have the right to disrespect her. I didn't like it. So she leave because she felt the weight, and I didn't blame her. Like, okay, y'all know this gonna go up and down because I'm a call in when I'm right, when they right, but when it's wrong, whether I'm not, I don't really jam with the character or not, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm gonna take up for them. So yeah, so I try to be fair. I'm all about being fair. So I wasn't mad at that. I really do feel like although Peanut and Pooky have been comic relief over the years, their character should have grown up. And we don't get to see that. We see that with Kelvin. And even though Peanut and Pooky are not, mainstream characters, we still need growth from them, especially since I think, I don't know which one is married. I think it is Pooky, the one who's married. So I expected a lot of growth, but no, they're still stuck somewhere in 18, 19, 20. Okay? So Jasmine and Jackson, they're just sitting there having a little small conversation. CJ come downstairs because he's trying to be nosy. Sir, this lady is in college. She's a young woman. She can handle herself. Go away, CJ. Go away. So we found out that Jackson's dad passed away when he was young. But he is very fond of CJ. And I wasn't mad at that. I do think that there is a lot of growth. There's a lot of growth in Jackson from when we first seen Jackson, when he when he almost got Jasmine kicked out of school for cheating on her, for cheating. And he tried to blame Jasmine, and he wanted her to really just take the fall. So yeah, Jackson really had to win Jasmine over, and he had to win me over. So Calvin and Ella, he stopped by the next day. He stopped by Ella's house the next day to check on her. She was like, listen, I was supposed to be doing all the things for the church. I'm a little tired, so you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to chill. I'm not doing nothing but chilling. So, of course, we know at this point, Ella decided she wanted to be nosy about what's going on between Laura and Kelvin. Now, I've never seen Ella this nosy when he was with Miranda, but she used to always get on to Miranda for showing up the way that she did. But I never liked how Kelvin showed up early in the season. Remember when he first met Miranda? It was like those two needed to grow up, really grow up. So he said it went terrible. He said Laura's still holding on to all of the things that has happened. He wanted to get back with Laura. He asked Ella, I knew this question was going to come, but hey, he was like, do you like Laura? She said, boy, hell no. Okay, she didn't say that. But she did say no. Okay, and I like to put a little stank on my stuff, y'all. So if you're new to my channel, I just put a little stank on it. So Kelvin told her, you never been like that. You like everybody. So Ella said, Kelvin, when you see me, you see you see the church lady. But baby, underneath all of this is a woman named Bam who will go get a bag of quarters and hit you over the head with it. Shout out to Madea. I'm sorry, I watched too many Tyler Perry plays. Anyway, she said, so don't ask me no questions y'all do not want the answers to. So can we say that Ella been moving a little flaky when it comes to Laura? I think she really liked Laura. And I think, we know that she likes Miranda. But I feel like listening to her today made me feel like she has held this space for Miranda, that she wouldn't let Laura in, because in the back of her mind she felt like, her and him and Laura wouldn't make it. It's not right, but I'm just hear me out. She felt like him and Laura they probably wouldn't have made it. And I think when Laura wanted her to, go cake tasting, I think it was dress shopping, and Ella was like, acting like she forgot. I felt like Ella remembered. I just don't think she wanted to hold that space for Laura. Because I do feel like in some ways she felt like she would probably betray Miranda. It's not fair. Or one can say, well, I think Ella was going through all of this. This is just a guess, if I had to guess. But when Laura walked in that door that day with all of that energy, I think that's when everything changed, and Ella just kind of like, okay, this is just really how I feel. So yeah, because when I seen Ella, she was always, when we watch Ella on screen, she was always nice to Laura. And the switch that happened with Laura, like, I don't know. So that's just my little 1-2 take. So Calvin said, why do you keep asking her? No. My question, why do you keep asking your mom whether or not she likes Laura? She said no the first time. When she told you no, we should leave it at that. I think at this point, Calvin had asked about 3 more times. She said, well, I like Laura because she's my sister in Christ. See, when everybody start telling you that, I feel like people don't really like you like that. They just surface level like you. Like, they don't really roll with you. And I know what that feels like for somebody to be like, oh, I like her here. I love you because of this. But not because of friendship or sisterhood. We want share. So when somebody tell me that, y'all automatically, this just me, I automatically feel like you didn't like me anyway. But that's just me. So, we find out Calvin still want to be with Laura. And I'm just thinking, like, Calvin, do you want to be with Laura because you want help from those kids? Like, that's what I've always thought. If y'all go back and look at my shorts, I thought that. So Janine always figures out a way to be nosy when it comes to Jasmine's situation. So she wanted to know. She was like, how was it? She was like, she didn't say it was good, but she did eventually, she did say it was good, but it was like Janine was wherever Jazzy went. So if if Jazzy said it was bad, Janine was like, I knew it. But then when she said it was good, she was like, I knew it. It's like, girl, y'all have to let this baby grow up. Y'all have Malik living in a house with a whole baby and a woman. Okay, Jasmine is in a different space, Anyway, we get back to Ella and Calvin. We find out, y'all remember Junior, Junior was supposed to be gone with Tracy. So right now, Junior is with Tracy. And Ella commends Calvin on always being supportive with those boys. And she encouraged him to keep going and doing those things that he needs to do as it relates to Junior, and how Junior has been different since Calvin has really been an integral part of his life. And we've seen that. So Calvin is confused about what makes him happy. He also wondered why he hasn't he also wondered why Ella hasn't weighed in her opinion on any of the women that he been with. And she was like, I have. You just kind of been an airhead. I've said and spoke my little pieces here and there. He was like, but you was always so subtle. Yeah, that's how Ella is. She's very subtle. So we find out the why she doesn't like Laura. So Ella says she don't like Laura because Laura is about Laura, which, I mean, I'm not mad at that, because at the end of the day, Laura is an individual. Laura has done a lot for him, for those boys. Like, Laura has been a big part of Calvin's life. I don't think Laura is about Laura. We've seen her do things that she never thought that she would do unless it's her, you know, her kid. The problem came in. It wasn't the fact that, I know everybody think it was the fact that she walked in Ella's house with all of that energy. No, it starts and stops with Miranda. She does not want, basically, she doesn't want Miranda around anymore, and she wants to be the only daughter-in-law, and she wants to be the wife. And these are the things that she wants. So her disdain for Miranda has, you know, poured into Ella and everybody else. And so now she acts as if she's the victim because she felt like Calvin didn't step in. And it's like, Laura, you have a mouth, use it. But as we know, Laura has an issue with controlling her emotions. That's all I'm going to say on that. So she wants a woman that will push Calvin, lift him up, be kind and patient to him. The kind of woman that has to have a certain type of kindness inside of her that dictates her all of her actions. And I was like, well, okay, we gonna just leave it one-sided. Because he asked his mom, what is it that you want for me? And she specifically answered that question. So I was gonna go there, but I'm not. Okay? And Ella feels like Laura is not that person. So Calvin asks, how did she feel about Miranda? When I tell y'all I knew that was coming out, Ella thinks Miranda is as good as gold. Okay. This Miranda is as good as gold. She also said that she loved his dirty underwear and it hurt her heart when it called it quits. Miranda left. Now, if I'm not mistaken, y'all know I've been watching Tyler Perry I've been watching House of Payne since season 1. She left. She was a mess and a half, just like Tracy. But people change. And Miranda, we seen how Miranda has changed over the years because ultimately she needed to co-parent with Calvin. And I wasn't mad at it. So this is why Ella was doing the things that she did, because she was holding space for Miranda, but she just wasn't holding space for Laura like that. And she liked Laura, but I felt like that instant moment when Laura came into her house and they were nice to Laura. Everybody was very kind to Laura, but I don't know, she just took over this different energy, and she allowed it to sever all of these relationships. And now, she's been hurt. She's been victimized. And I just can't with Laura. So Pooky and Peanut returns back to Calvin's house with Deja, Tamara, Kenyatta, and Calvin threw them out so he can drink his wine. And that's where the episode ended. Y'all, please let me know what y'all think in the comments. I have never did a full House of Payne, and I'm so sorry that I never gave y'all this entire season. But House of Payne, I just had so many shows, and I just wanted to add this one, and then I'll start doing, if y'all like, I will start doing a full episode of House of Payne, the rest of this season going into next season. So let me know. Also, or if y'all want it in a short, let me know. But if not, since I started it, I'm going to finish it full review. Okay? So anyway, this is your girl Kiwan, reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.